Hi, this is Melissa Coss Aquino, and I'm coming to you from the Bronx, New York, and I'll be reading to you from my novel, Carmen and Grace. This is the limited advanced reader copy. Given the time leaps that happened in the book, I'm going to read a small section from the very first page, and then I'm going to read from the first chapter, just to give a flavor for the change in time, the change in perspective and age of the main characters. Walking the Spiral, Carmen, summer of 2016. The small cement room was not built for the woman wearing a long black skirt with a lot of initials and titles after her name, who passed through the steel threshold of the door frame, radiating light like the full moon hanging low. She was coming through, like so many before her, to do a workshop for those of us getting ready to get out. There would be hoops to jump for sure, so we jumped. Out was something that kept us awake at night. It kept us dreaming. She walked in, set a big stack of books down on the table, and smiled at us. She wrote on the board, "Walking the Spiral," then drew a big spiral underneath it. On the other side of the board, she wrote, "Instinct injured." We were a captive audience for a lot of bullshit. I was ready for her stuff to be more of the same. Her flow for a second reminded me of Grace, how she might have looked in her 60s. You could tell this woman wasn't scared of us by how she went up and down the aisles between us with her handouts instead of standing in front of the room and passing them back. When she bumped my shoulder by accident, she turned her hips to fit through sideways. She placed her hand on my arm and winked as she said, "Sorry, mija. I take up a lot of space." Her body language was singing loud and clear, "I am free as fuck and would like to show you the way." And we go to chapter 1, Arrivals and Departures, which is in the section titled The Mother of Wild Things, according to Carmen, summer of 2002. Where I'm from, there's a million ways to fall out of grace and into trouble. But once in, there is no way out but through. No turning back, no do-overs, no starting fresh, no new beginnings, no clean slates. We carry all the shit we've done, even some shit we haven't done, like turtles carry home on their backs. Knowing that never kept me from wanting what James Bond always had. I wanted the little button I could press to just like that escape from the car about to explode, no matter what I had done to get myself into it in the first place. What I had instead was the Virgin Mary hanging from the rearview mirror on a pink and green string. She looked neither pleased nor worried. Her eternal calm was irritating. Grace had sent me to pick up Red from the airport in a Honda Civic Hoopty with no air conditioning during rush hour traffic on a summer Friday in June on the Grand Central Parkway. Alongside the ice-cold Beamers and Benzes all headed to the Hamptons, I had to rock my open windows and dented door. It was a car that had "No Escape" written all over it. The only cassette she'd left in it for me was Biggie's "Ready to Die." I'm sure she was laughing the whole time just thinking about it. She was also throwing code by leaving Biggie and sending me in one of our very first cars. Remember where we started? Hold your ground. Loyalty above all else. Don't punk out. She could feel me slipping even if she didn't know why. Had she known I was pregnant, she might have enjoyed my suffering even more. I threw the cassette on the floor out of spite. I dreamed of escape the way you dream about having expensive cars before you ever learn to drive. The way you dream of falling in love without ever having felt it. I believed in it hard, but would not have known what the hell to do with it if someone just said, "Here, take it." Doña Durka being dead felt like a "here, take it" kind of situation. I was already fumbling the past by going to the airport. Red could have taken a taxi, Grace could have sent a limo, any of the other girls in any of our cars, or even one of the young bucks who clearly needed something to do. Doña Durka's boys had spent the last few days circling the house, making noise and stirring dust like elephants do when one of their own dies. They couldn't cry, so they chewed Skittles, Starburst, and sunflower seeds, spitting empty shells and dropping wrappers all over the front porch where they gathered in constantly shifting herds. Things they would never have done when Doña Durka was alive. When they got tired of spitting and chewing, they drank 40s and smoked blunts, rimming their eyes in red to hide the terror and the tears. They knew what Doña Durka had offered was not easily found or replaced. It had a price, though none of them came from lives that didn't. That someone had dared to shoot her in the parking lot at Orchard Beach in broad daylight meant none of them were safe. I say them and mean us. None of us were safe. But it was hard to feel danger when you had never really felt anything else.